Hi, Molly. It's good to see you again. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, last time we kind of just went over your situation and where you're at in your place here in Oregon, um, and it's kind of new to you. I remember you saying that um, you were nervous about some new changes, and I just kind of wanted to see if we could talk about that today.
Yeah, I'd like that. Um, so as I told you last time, I recently found out that I was pregnant, um, with our second, and that has been a really big transition for us. We weren't expecting to have a second child, and the first one has some challenges, behavioral challenges and sensory issues. So we're just kind of feeling really overwhelmed right now with taking on this whole other person coming into our lives.
Yeah, that's some big news, and it does. It takes a lot of emotional toll, I think, whenever you're thinking about just everything that's on your plate now and what might be coming up. So, what are your feelings about that? When do you talk to your husband and y'all share it, or are you keeping a lot inside?
I'm glad you said that because it's been hard for me to share some of my true feelings with him. I don't want to let on how scared I am
Okay.
about all of this.
Yes.
Um, so I do share with him, but it's definitely recently has been more shallow, more guarded.
I understand. I think that that's kind of what a lot of us do when we're experiencing fear like that is we put up a wall, or we try to protect ourselves from just the reactions of others sometimes, and it can be scary, so I definitely understand that. What kind of thoughts are going through your mind when you think about this fear that you can't share with him?
Um, I just, I will obviously be the one staying home those first few months, and the last time around postpartum was really hard for me.
Okay.
And I know that he's a really empathetic person and he feels my feelings.
Okay.
So when I'm stressed out, he's stressed out, very empathetic. And so I don't want to worry him before it's time or unnecessarily.
Sure.
But at the same time, anticipating all that is stressful for me.
So you don't only have your feelings, but you're also worrying about the way he's going to feel in reaction to your feelings. Is
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting?
yeah, that's really true, and not to mention, the baby itself. Just knowing that external stressors will have an effect on your baby. We want to keep those as low as possible, but in the meantime, pushing things down hasn't really been working for me.
Well, hopefully, through our sessions, we'll be able to work on that. And one of the biggest ways that I find success in working with clients who are experiencing this kind of fear and anxiety is talking about the messages that you're experiencing in your head, the things that you're telling yourself, um, they're just coming from within you. And sometimes those messages are part of what is creating the fear and anxiety, and they might not even be um, rational thoughts.
Right.
They might be thoughts that are coming up that are actually making things worse. And if we look at those thoughts and address them, um, it helps you to work through the emotions that go along with them, and maybe change the way those thoughts are affecting your feelings. It sounds like a big task, but sometimes it's a lot easier if we just give it a try. So, would you be comfortable with just thinking about what some of these messages might be and just picking one to share with me?
Yeah, one of them is that if I can't get a hold of my own mental health, how am I supposed to be there to support my kids who are really vulnerable?
That is definitely a valid concern. I think that shows um, caring and love and concern, and that's a good thing when you're going to be a parent. Um, so, what about that thought, if you step back and analyze it, um, do you think is real and has truth in it?
I guess kind of what you said, that, I mean, it's based out of concern for my kids and our family as a whole.
Okay. Um, think about your relationship with your child that you have now. And you said there were some behavioral problems, and I know that's probably been a challenge. But as a mother, I imagine that your child really looks to you for guidance and that you are a support. Would you think?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he does spend the majority of his time with me, and he has grown a lot. So I guess you could say I've overcome that with one child.
I think that shows you, when you look at it, just how much strength you do have. And I'm sure there was a lot of unknown with the first pregnancy. Having experience in that, I think, is definitely a strong point for you. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot less unknowns this time around.
Sure.
Um, the first time, everything was a new experience, and now I'll be going through them for the second time. So even though it's a new child, it's not necessarily a brand new experience. So I hadn't thought about it like that.
I think that you probably have more strength and skills than you're giving yourself credit for. And maybe an exercise in addressing that thought and that concern that you can do on your own before we meet again is to make a list of some of the strengths that you've realized that you have just from the experience of being a mother. And that will give you an idea of the tools that you have that you may not even recognize right now. Do you think that's something you could work on?
I definitely have been putting a lot of focus on my weaknesses. So I think thinking about my strengths is a good idea, because they don't come up first when you're worrying about life. But
that's true.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah. And it can be an empowering exercise for you if you focus on the things that you know that you can rely on yourself for, instead of fears about where you're going to fall short.
I like that. I'm going to try that when we hang up today, I think.
Okay. Well, let's make a plan so you know what we need to do. If you're going to make a list, let's come up with a number of strengths that you're going to list, and then your task will be to analyze the good things about being a mother that you can do, that you're going to bring to this new life that's coming. So how many strengths do you want to come up with this week?
Well, it sounds like it'll be challenging to come up with a lot. What do you think is a good number to start with?
I think that 5 strengths sounds like a number that's going to keep you thinking about yourself and your toolbox, and maybe won't be too overwhelming at the same time. What do you think?
I think 5 sounds realistic. I can do that.
Okay. So in the next week, if you'll work on that and think about the good things that you can bring to the table for this growing family as a mother, and I will look forward to seeing you next week, and we can talk about those.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you so much.
More questions? Oh, absolutely. Did you have any more questions today, or anything else that you wanted to address?
I think we covered everything. I feel a lot better after talking with you.
I'm glad to hear that, Molly, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Okay.